Hey everyone, it's Nathan Orenstein with The No Show, here to talk about The Dig. The Dig is written by Moira Buffini, directed by Simon Stone, and stars Carey Mulligan, Ray Fiennes, and Lily James. It is based on the book of the same name by John Preston, which is based on true events, and is available to stream on Netflix. The Dig follows excavator Basil Brown, played by Fiennes, who was hired by Edith Pretty, played by Mulligan, to dig up these large burial mounds on her property in Suffolk, England, on the cusp of World War II. He, of course, finds something of great importance, and more people get involved with the excavation, all as the war approaches. The first thing you'll notice with the dig is how quickly things get started. Basil is on his way to Mrs. Pretty's estate, and basically right after that, the excavation begins. This is something that caught me really off guard, since I certainly wasn't expecting a fast-paced film, seeing that it's a historical drama about archaeology. But the dig moves really quickly throughout basically the entirety of its runtime. It's pretty refreshing, to be honest, and it makes for a much more entertaining watch than I was expecting. But the speed doesn't always lend itself to great storytelling. There are numerous occasions where the movie changes direction really quickly, and you're kinda just forced to go along with it. Weirder still is that some of these changes completely alter the focus of the movie, and this can be really jarring. I do think that switching things up like this keeps things more interesting and entertaining, but at the cost of good storytelling. I do understand the decision to tell the story this way, but it's not a payoff that always works. The next thing you'll notice is just how gorgeous this movie is. Filmed in the English countryside, the setting is beautiful, but it's more than just that. The way this film is shot is seriously breathtaking, and The Dig is one of the most visually appealing movies I've seen in the past couple of years. It uses these wide shots of the beautiful countryside mixed with these more intimate handheld moments to create a really immersive experience. The editing is also really seamless and never breaks the pace or the flow of the movie at all. And finally, the music is not perfect, but it definitely sets the tone really well for most of the scenes. And of course, I have to mention the great lead performances from Fiennes and Mulligan. Fiennes gives a great performance as Basil Brown, but the role isn't super demanding in the grand scheme of things. Edith Pretty, on the other hand, though, is a much more interesting person, and Carey Mulligan knocks it out of the park with her performance. It's the beginning of February, and I've already talked about two of her great performances this year. Mrs. Pretty is an emotionally and physically frail person, and her physical and mental state kind of change as the film goes on. Mulligan captures this all so well, though, and the range on display here really proves that she's one of the best and most underrated talents working today. Lily James also gets her fair share of the spotlight, and I think she does a good job, though it's nothing too memorable and it's nothing that's really going to stand out when watching this film. The big question I had going into this movie, though, was whether or not they could make a 2-hour movie about archaeology interesting. And the answer is sort of. Here's the deal with The Dig. The excavation, while important, isn't really the focus of this film. It serves more as a backdrop to advance the narrative, while the dialogue is more used to flesh out these relationships between the characters and flesh out the characters themselves. It does stay interesting the whole time, though. At least I thought so. So while the writing isn't super fantastic or anything, it's definitely more entertaining than I would have expected, and it serves its purpose well enough. If you were expecting some slow burn historical drama from The Dig, you're not going to get that here. It's fast, it's entertaining, and it features some pretty interesting characters played by some pretty fantastic actors. It's also just gorgeous to look at. Aside from some weird and abrupt narrative detours, there really isn't anything bad here. On the other hand, there isn't much that stands out as great either, aside from the few things that I just mentioned. It's a good movie, though, and I do recommend it if anything I've mentioned in this review interests you in the slightest. I'm going to be giving The Dig a 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you've seen The Dig already, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I've been Nathan Orenstein with The No Show. Thanks for watching.